So that structure looks so slim, sleek, and aesthetic. So you don't see any extra things coming out of the building, and it is the stronger base. And as you go up, it is the slim. That is structurally efficient and structurally meaningful for reducing the effect of wind on the structure. That's why it looks so aesthetic and beautiful.
So speaking about aesthetics, while our aim is to, as a structural consultant, while your aim is to make the building more safer and more durable for people, do you compromise on aesthetics? Because you just told us simplicity is aesthetics.
Yeah.
So sometimes while designing more complex structures, you might have to let go of aesthetics. I'm talking about visual aesthetics, not exactly the structural ones, but
Yeah.
visually.
It's a good thing, actually, what you asked. Now I'll take an analogy of a person. Suppose there is a very good, healthy person who has muscles well built, exactly what is required, not over too much, and then he wears any dress, a healthy body, he looks smart. Whereas to make an unhealthy person look smart, if you wear dress, still he cannot compete with the healthy person. This is the analogy. So what I would like to say is I had such incidences where my client approaches architect for special structures first, and architect decides the external elevation and form and asks me to design. So that is second case of what analogy I have given. Unhealthy person wearing beautiful, costly dress. Now, there is a case where my client approaches first. I'll give the structural system because that is important for a large span or tall structure. Anything, we decide the structural system and architect builds around
that. So first it's structural and then architect and then...
Or a good architect is also a good engineer always. So I had that experience also, working with good architect who will decide the entire structural system and gives us. So we'll just design for that system. So that will be the most beautiful. I don't name the structures. In Hyderabad itself, we have done residential buildings, office buildings, and commercial buildings, where all these three examples can be given.
Wow.
Healthy structure, costly elevation. Healthy structure, simple elevation. And unhealthy structure, because it is a costly elevation. Unhealthy, I don't mean unstable or... but it's not following the basic structural principles. Like nowadays, we are seeing transfer slabs, transfer girders, like parking. The same thing, as a structural engineer, I have never given a transfer slab because that's not healthy. But if you see that structure, you have a 3-meter concrete in the slab itself. It doesn't look nice. So you have to struggle to make it look aesthetic. Whereas if you decide the structural system, then your window positions, the residential building, if you design as residential, it will automatically look like residential. Otherwise, you try to plan like office and make it look like residential. That won't be good. So this is the easy way of understanding healthy structure and aesthetic look.
That is great breakdown, sir. So first structure and then aesthetics.
Yeah.
Great. So sir, having worked in this field for 30 years, almost 30 years now. 35 years. What is the most challenging project that you worked on? And can you break it down for us, why it has been challenging and how we have solved that problem?
You want any structure or only building?
Something that you're really proud of. Can be anything.
Oh, there are many actually. But yeah, I'll give you the challenging things. First, most challenging that I have handled is a 60-meter communication tower. that is a hybrid structure, pipe and angles. They are already in operation across the country. And they wanted to improve the strength of that structure without affecting the operation. In fact, this work I have presented in international conference also. That's why I'm proud of, because structural fraternity in the world have accepted the concept that I have followed. That means without affecting, we have been given the strengthening. Like nowadays, we have beating heart surgery. In medicine, that is the most challenging. Beating heart surgery or small least interference like keyhole surgeries we have. They are the latest. Similarly, in structure, I have done similar like beating heart surgery and keyhole surgery kind of thing, which was accepted, and that was implemented for 60 towers in 3 months.
Wow.
Parallelly. So buildability, safety, and practical functional aspects all covered. That is one example. And another example is the commercial building, where we had to design parking floor height of 2.5 meters. Because that time we had the limitation on FAR, floor area ratio, in the commercial building. So I had to design the structure to accommodate car parking within 2.5 meters height. That means my slab thickness, I have to limit it to 180 mm. And spans are 8 meters and 14 meters. And in that I had to give the provision for services like firefighting, ventilation, all that. And as a team with architect, MEP consultant, structural consultant, we have done it. Because it was a rock cutting. If I increase 0.5 meter per floor, that means I have to increase my depth of excavation by another 2.5 meters, which will increase the cost by almost like 2.5 means 15,000 cubic meters, which would have costed 1.5 crores more. So we saved that and designed. At the same time, we had water seepage into that building. Excavation, when you do 20 meters deep excavation, there will be water entering like a well. So instead of struggling to contain the water, we filtered that water and brought into the building and used it for consumption. So there is no borewell, there is no municipal water connection for that building. We every day collect 6 lakh liters of treated water at no cost.
Oh.
No power is used. So these are the kind of challenges we face. And another project, we have designed tall buildings, 2 tall buildings in between podium, clubhouse. And we have designed the water pressure and all. Suddenly, client decided to plug the pressure relief well. And Hyderabad, we are seeing last 20 years, there are 6 peaks of rainfall. That means 100-year peak rainfall happened 6 times in 20 years. Whereas in previous 100 years, 20th century, 5 peaks in 100 years.
That's
now,
an exponential.
Yeah, rainfall has increased so much. And so the water table also fluctuating. Whereas we are seeing water table going down, but during the rainy seasons, it is going up. So it is exerting pressure on the structure. So unfortunately, because we have given the pressure relief well, that got filled for some usage. And suddenly there was a huge heavy rainfall and the whole podium got lifted.
So do you think global warming can be one cause to
this? That's why I gave this example. Similar to global warming, unpredictable rainfall, unpredictable temperatures. These are all challenges for the structural engineer, which I also faced. I am no exception. But we restored the whole structure by giving relief to the pressure and with the simple treatment of the structure. So we didn't affect the high-rise buildings because of this. So these are all like this. We have challenges almost every week some challenge or other, but these are things which I can recall immediately when you asked about my challenges. Very interesting. We love handling these challenges and solving. And one more I'll tell you, in Gujarat, I went as a volunteer engineer after the earthquake. And one building, 5-storied building, after the earthquake is leaning by 12 degrees. And there is a heritage structure just beside. If this is not dismantled properly, it will collapse onto the heritage building. It will damage. Heritage means, 100 years old, more than 100-year-old structure. So we have to save the heritage structure. At the same time, we have to dismantle without affecting that. So I was only structural engineer that time. Commissioner called me, requested me to give the sequence of dismantling. So I had given the army people who are there to follow the sequence. I have given the sequence and they have followed, and it collapsed other side. In fact, that collapse was recorded, and the Star News, they used to show that collapse also many times, that Gujarat earthquake building collapse, because you cannot capture collapse of the building so easily that time, 2001. So that is another challenge. As a structural engineer, we not only build proper structures, we also have to dismantle buildings, like what happened in Noida, Cochin. Tall buildings had to be dismantled. That's a huge engineering.
Right.
So there is a proper structural engineering for process followed dismantling or demolition also.
So do you think, sir, most challenging situations lead to the best innovations?
Yeah.
Can you highlight one of those innovations that has changed the world forever in terms of structural engineering?
Yeah, one is that restoration of the retrofitting of the tower, which I said. I have come up with a new structural concept, like plastic hinges being formed and stiffer member taking over the weaker member. That concept we have followed. And in fact, when we approached IIT and SERC, they were not readily willing to approve that concept because it's not there anywhere. But after I presented in the international conference, that is accepted. Similarly, another interesting thing I did was aqueduct, a 5-meter cantilever structure, which has cracked due to some settlement in the foundation, in the seashore. Due to sand and rainfall, unexpected event happened, and during construction it cracked. So we had to restore that. I followed the structural principle, basic structural principle, and I have advised my client to go ahead with the construction. Nothing will happen. That was questioned by structural SERC, even scientists. But I challenged and took a challenge, and it worked. So if we are very clear in structural concepts, a structural engineer is not about using software or producing drawings, is not structural. It is the behavior. That's why I treat Burj Khalifa designer as my God, because it's only God who can create structures like human structures we are seeing. We take inspiration from animals, natural trees and all, and formulate the structural system. Similarly, structural engineer will have that intuition, and who has studied principles clearly will have the clarity. So any challenging thing we can solve. Always people ask me, is it possible to design this? It is possible to design any structure. But only thing is cost, buildability. Can you build that? Economy, that is cost. And then performance rating. How well it can perform. This is the parameters which we have to consider while giving. So the design is possible for any type of structure. We only advise what is the best structure with all these parameters optimized.
So there is a builder called Mr. Hilnani in Mumbai. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah, I know. I interacted with them.
Okay, that's great, sir. So I was watching one of his podcasts. He mentioned this one line that struck me really well. Quality is always cheaper in the long run.
Yeah, my guru told me, he Krishnamurti garu, who is the like Bhishma Pitamaha in Hyderabad in consulting, structural consulting. His point is, does quality cost? You are saying cheaper. I am saying quality doesn't cost. In fact, if we don't follow the quality, it costs a lot. So, quality should never be considered as a cost. Quality is part of the process. It is the basic minimum requirement in any construction to follow the quality control, quality assurance plan, and the quality audit, quality vigilance. All stages of quality we have to follow, and we should not factor it as an additional cost. It is part of the cost. Suppose concrete. When we buy concrete or when we produce concrete, all the tests required to be done on cement, aggregates, water, or during process, it is part of the production cost. Like whatever we are buying, our clothes or anything, there is a quality certified, Similarly, construction also shall be quality certified, and that certification cost shall be part of the cost. And here I come to your point actually. Many people think that some builders, I'm not saying anything, some builders may not follow all these procedures. They may compromise, I would say. They may compromise to save on the cost or reduce the cost. I don't say save. And we have India economy is growing and it is developing. So many people, they prefer a lower cost, definitely, because of the affordability. And they want big house at lower cost. And we have seen the advertisement of Maruti, very popular. Our Indian scientists also, when the rocket is launched, they will ask about the fuel, how many kilometers it gives. Car buyers also, we buy Benz or BMW, but still we ask what is the mileage of the cost. When compared to the cost of the vehicle, fuel is nothing, but that is our mindset because we are a growing economy. So house buyer is no exception to that. It's in fact more. So, but now thanks to RERA, thanks to municipal bylaws that are insisting on stability. In fact, that I was part of that team in 2020 when there was 2000, year 2000, there were 2-3 failures in Hyderabad, building failures, small buildings only. Then we as an association met and gave recommendations to corporation. Corporation itself was not following the National Building Code guidelines. So we recommended. Then they implemented. It is actually, I can proudly say Hyderabad is the first city to implement National Building Code provisions. Then we shared that to other cities. So in that National Building Code, it insists on supervising engineer, geotechnical engineer, structural engineer to be on the panel of the corporation, and they should certify the permission before the permission that they will take care of all these aspects, and they should certify after construction also that they have followed all the guidelines that are there. So that will assure the builder, occupier, end user. So the people who are buying the houses, now RERA number is a must, permission is a must. I have come across even my own, in my relations, when they come for advice while they are buying an apartment. The first question I ask is, what is the road width you have before the apartment? They say 20 feet. Then I immediately say that is not a proper construction. How you can get permission for 20 feet road 5-storied building. That means they would have managed some panchayat or municipal. So this people have to be aware. At least in Hyderabad, if the permission is proper, that means GHMC, HMDA, DTCP. In rural areas, it should be DTCP. If these three, any of the permission is there, that means they followed the norms properly. So we have to check it. It is available online also. The permission number, if they type, whether that is genuine or not, they will know. Permission and then RERA. In RERA, they will ensure the delivery of the project. And nowadays, all good developers who are members of CREDAI, who are members of TREDA, they follow all the norms. In fact, I authored the standard operating process book for CREDAI members. Construction, every stage we have defined what are all the checks to be done, who are all the consultants to be employed, depending on the size of the project, and what is the approval process, handing over process. Everything is defined well. So,
does this process change with time, or is it standardized?
No, it will keep improving. We have documented what it is today. So tomorrow, more and more, like 3D printing may come, and precast may be order of the day. Like earlier, my one in 2006, I first did my one project in Hyderabad using formwork, aluminum formwork, wall and slab system. For even 5-storied building, we did to begin with. Today, it is order of the day. So in our SOP, we have to incorporate this. We have incorporated my future. Next, we are also talking about precast construction. Now, first in Hyderabad, the tallest precast is happening, 42-storied. So precast may take over next. Because of the cost of the labor, because of the quality assurance, all these aspects, there is advantage. People will go for it. Earlier, it was costing more. Machinery was costing more. Manpower was costing less. Today, manpower is costing more. Machinery is costing less. So, it will change.
Right, sir.
I also say that we are converting blue-collar jobs to white-collar jobs. In precast, there is more white-collar work. In conventional, we have more blue-collar work.